Hi, I'm Carrie Paculet, and this is my workshop project for my last course in YSDN. So a little bit about this project. I'm doing my topic on emerging adulthood, so the transition from adolescence to adulthood and the different things that happen along the way to kind of make a new identity as an adult. So the first semester of the course, I focused a lot on researching that topic. I did a visual essay and a literature review on the topic of different brain studies and different case studies, looking at different examples of things that are included in that transition. And then I had to decide on what I would do for my final design deliverable. So I wanted to do something really tactile, and I decided on doing a painting, a big painting to kind of show a correlation between the textures and memory. So I feel like a lot of things are connected to memory, like different textures, colors, and sounds. So I wanted to look into how those different senses connected to memory during that transitional time. So I started to look into psychology around that topic. And one of the key people I found for my research was Dr. Jeffrey Arndt, who is a professor of psychology, and he actually coined the term emerging adulthood. So that's what led me to really explore that topic. So for my final deliverable, I wanted to do a really big painting, but I started with 4 smaller ones just to get to know that kind of like the textures I wanted to include and how I wanted to go about doing the big painting.
La musique, je peux sentir le jazz, ça me fait quelque chose.
Et la musique classique, ça vous fait quelque chose?
Exactement, la musique classique c'est pour la tête.
For my visual studies, I worked on including the self-ethnography sheets that I created to help me collect primary research on myself. So I used myself as how I would get the information on memories and how that connected to different textures. So I made a goal to do 2 of these sheets a week, and I collected information on how I was feeling that day, what memories were coming up, and then also how that connected to different textures that were coming up with the memories. So I did 2 of those a week, and along the way I would also do 4 miniature visual studies just to explore those textures a bit more. And how I did that was I just used drywall mud and put it on the canvas, and then when that was dry, put paint over top. And sometimes I would listen to music, like a specific song, to kind of see if that helped prompt different memories to come up as well. And I found that really effective, so I decided to make a curated playlist to go along with my design deliverable so that whoever was interacting with the piece would be able to listen to those songs and see if anything came up for them.
J'aime beaucoup, ça vous excite, il y a un rythme.
The reason that I think this research is important is because it's something that everyone goes through. Everyone emerges into adulthood in different ways, but we all go through the same shifts and changes in behavior and personality as different things come up from our past and new things come up that we have to start dealing with in our personal lives. So I think this is something that a lot of people can connect with and resonate with on an emotional level. And my hope for the project is that everyone who interacts with it can feel some sense of community and solidarity around the topic of emerging adulthood and the different identity shifts that can take place during that time, both negative and positive. They all shape us into who we are today, and they all play a part in our lives. A week before the design deliverables were due, I moved into doing my big painting, so bringing all of those findings together into one big piece. And my vision for the big piece would be that it would be hung in a gallery setting, so like a hypothetical gallery setting where the user would look at the piece, and just to paint the picture for how the scene would play out, there would be a headphone set with a curated playlist that the user could listen to while they look at the piece and kind of absorb it. And again, the piece is representing the different textures that are connected to memory. So the textures that are included, I have 4 main categories. So negative emotions, positive emotions, growth, and transition. And I found those were the 4 main areas that I was seeing pop up in my primary and secondary research. So again, the user would be looking at that painting, absorbing it, listening to the curated playlist, and then once they've done that for 5 or 10 minutes, they would then do their own self-ethnography journal page to see if anything is coming up for them. And there would also be an accompanying legend to go along with the work, just to explain the 4 different sections and what the textures mean. And there would also be a description underneath the work to kind of like give a little bit more insight into the background and the research behind the piece. So that's where I would kind of like picture my piece to be in a gallery setting. So I worked on putting the drywall down on the piece, and then I moved into painting afterwards. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this piece turned out, and I had a lot of different bumps along the road in my research journey during this whole year with the project. A lot of things came up that I didn't expect, but I'm really excited to see where this piece continues, and I even want to take it into a digital exploration too, maybe making an app or something like that where a user could use the piece and interact with it digitally. So yeah, that's my piece, and thanks for following along. Is that good?